PS3 game. I bought it on eBay. My house is filled with these games. Shows up and around post every day. But I bought on eBay. Tell me why I need another Contra. Tell me why I bought that Sonic alarm clock. Tell me why I bid on Balan Wonderworld. They had it on eBay. What I bought on eBay. Hey, MacCam89 here, and today we have a pickups video, and boy do I have a lot of good stuff here, new and old. This is a culmination of a bunch of games that I picked up over the past 6 months plus, definitely within this 2024 year for sure. And it has come from a couple of different places: eBay, thrifting, GameStop, and Gamefly, which, believe it or not, is a great place to get a lot of these games, especially newer titles. And we have a great mix of new and old here, and we're going to get right into it just because there is a good amount. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one modern, one old, and we'll do that until we run out of one or the other. I may have more modern stuff here because, believe it or not, there are still some decent titles out there coming out on modern consoles, and especially if you can get them for real cheap. And I'll kind of explain how I acquired some of these. So we are going to start off with the good old Super Nintendo, one of the best 16-bit consoles of all time. That and the Sega Genesis, in my opinion, are the two best. But we have the original Mortal Kombat, and I know some of my viewers will really appreciate that because I know there are quite a bit of Mortal Kombat fans that watch this channel. And I agree. It is my favorite fighting franchise. I love the characters. I love the story. Boy, do I wish they could do a lot more like Shaolin Monks and kind of do spin-offs and things like that. It would be amazing if they did a modern version of a Shaolin Monks or an open world Mortal Kombat. That'd be really cool. I ended up getting this at a GameStop, my local GameStop. They had it at a really great price. And not only that, but because I am a pro member, I also get their $5 coupons every month. Plus, I have their credit card. And what I do, now I'm not, telling you to go out and get their credit card, but it does give you 4 times the bonus points so that you can redeem additional gift cards. So what I typically do is I will make my purchases on that card and then pay it off because I was going to pay it off, use cash anyways. So, use it, pay it off. That way you don't get hit with any interest rates. And then you get the 4 times bonus coupons. And I use that to get this game and another Super Nintendo game that you're going to see later down the line. So that's what I typically do. I love the fact that GameStops are now having retro games in stores. So you can walk in and get a beautiful Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, NES game. And my location, anyway, has had a good variety of disc-based and cartridge-based systems. So it's been fun to kind of go in there. And it's definitely made me go to GameStop more often because sometimes it's near my church. So before I go to church or after church, I'll pop in there just to see what they have for retro games. I don't even care about the other stuff. Because almost every day it seems like there's different stuff that they have on that back shelf. So it's been real exciting and good for GameStop. So I know they get a lot of hate, and deservedly so at times, but I've always been a fan of GameStop, and will probably continue to be so in the future. So this is a game that I bought on day one. I am a huge Space Marine fan, Warhammer 40K fan. And this was definitely one of the rare games. I don't buy a lot of games on day one anymore. I typically wait for deep sales, which most of these games are going to be super deep sales, coupons, things like that. But this is a game that I had to buy day one. I wanted to support them. It got great reviews, and I love it. It is actually, in my opinion, it is my personal game of the year, and that is Space Marine 2. Boy, did I have fun with this. It was so great to just go in and be and feel like a Space Marine. No preaching, no teaching, just go in there, be a Space Marine, kick some alien butt, uh, find a great story, great characters, great graphics. Overall, it's just an amazing game. Do I think it's going to win Game of the Year? Probably not, because it doesn't tick, the check boxes that are seems to be required for those types of nominations. But this is a fantastic game, and I highly recommend it. And like I said, it's one of the few games that I bought day one. In fact, I pre-ordered it. And caveat or public service announcement: if you're going to pre-order games from Best Buy and you're doing it via their online store, you're typically not getting it on the day of release. I ended up getting this a few days after release, unfortunately. Best Buy does not ship out the games so that you get the games, or consoles for that matter, on the release date. So one thing to note about that. So here is another game. This actually, we're going to go back to retro. So we'll do the other Super Nintendo game that I got, and that is Mortal Kombat 2. I ended up getting this the same day that I got the original Mortal Kombat. They were sitting side by side. They were at a tremendous price already, and I knew as soon as I saw them, I had to get them. I had my $5 coupon, plus I had additional rewards points, so I ended up using that. So the thing with GameStop is you have to do separate purchases. They don't let you combine coupons, so that's the only caveat with them. But I ended up getting these guys super cheap, and glad I did. Mortal Kombat 2 is a fantastic game, and it's an amazing game on the Super Nintendo there. So pretty cool to have that in the collection. And behind me, you can see it on my other shoulder there, the Sega Genesis version of Mortal Kombat 2, which I actually prefer, to be honest. But either console that you get it for, amazing game. So getting back into modern titles, this is a game that I picked up at GameStop. I'm beginning to, when it comes to modern day titles, I'm beginning to support a lot of these AA developers out there. So I ended up picking up RoboCop Rogue City, and this is a first-person shooter, and I do recommend this game. It's been a lot of fun. I do need to complete it, but very, very fun game to get on the PlayStation 5. I think it's also on the Xbox consoles as well. The vast majority of my modern games, to be honest, I buy on PlayStation now. It's been a long time since I bought a physical game for the Xbox. I just have kind of fallen out with them. I own an Xbox Series S and X, but I don't feel the need to buy physical games for that console anymore. And it seems like they're not really interested in being a console manufacturer anymore. So I don't really feel the need to support Microsoft and the Xbox. So I do have Game Pass, so that's my level of support for them. I've been reluctant to get rid of it because there's a lot of kids games on there that kids actually do play. But as far as owning physical games for those consoles, I'm kind of, it's just not something that I'm willing to spend money on for that brand anymore. So all the modern games that you're going to see here that are physical are going to be for the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. That is RoboCop Rogue City. Highly recommended. Very, very good game. I probably wouldn't say that it's worth the $50 price tag unless you're a super RoboCop fan. But if you're kind of middle of the road and you're looking for a pretty cool shooter with good graphics and a decent story, wait for a sale, whether you get it physical or digital. Wait for a sale, but definitely do pick that game up. It is a fun game, and we should be supporting these AA studios that are putting out some good product there. All right, going a little bit in the past here. This is a game that I picked up via eBay, and I actually watched the movie rather recently, and really enjoyed that movie so much to the point that I bought it on 4K Blu-ray. Bought the animated movie that came out during that time, and then found out that there was a video game. So I'm like, wow, I gotta go out and get the Van Helsing video game, which I'm glad I did. It's a really good looking Xbox game. It is in the third person, and it does follow the movies, not to the T, but it does follow, kind of in the order of the movies. Kind of gives you a little bit more backstory, which is pretty cool. And it is very comparable to like a Devil May Cry game. So may not be as polished or as in depth story wise, but this is a pretty good game, and I got it on the cheap too. It wasn't that expensive. This is actually complete in box as well too. So to get it at a good price, complete in box, works perfectly. Was a good deal. Very, very happy with this game. I'm actually thinking about doing a live stream of Van Helsing. So if that's a game that you would like to see, let me know in the comment section below. And let me know if any of these games you'd love to see a live stream. Some of them I have already done, like Mortal Kombat, and some of the other games that I haven't mentioned yet. All right, the next game is a game that I have not played yet, but I got it on a super, super deep sale on GameFly. So I am a member of GameFly. And if you're not familiar with them, they're basically a rental service, kind of like what Netflix used to be, where you would get DVDs in the mail. Well, GameFly is similar to that, in which you get physical games in the mail that you get to rent, and then obviously you send back and you get another one. Or you have an option to keep the games, or you can buy from their store. And the longer you're a member of GameFly, the more perks you get. So deeper discounts, gift cards, keep it discounts. So some of these games, I could use, a $5 coupon, and then, or you can kind of stack those coupons, but then there's also like a 25% off the keep it price. So the keep it price is typically cheaper than what you would normally pay in their used store. Or the longer you are as a member, you get a discount, plus you can use coupons on top of it. So I ended up getting some of these games $5, $6, $7, $8, and they're practically brand new. Because when they ship out the games, they don't ship out the cases. They ship out the games in a sleeve. So when you actually keep the game or purchase it outright, they then send you the case separately. Or if you're buying it outright, it'll come with the case and the game. So this was a game that I found on their deep clearance sale. I had coupons. I figured, hey, let's try it out. I liked the games in the past. I heard not so good things about this particular one, and I haven't played it, so I can't give it a true opinion other than what I've heard about it. So I'm not going to say that it is a good game. It is a bad game. All I can say is that it didn't do well enough at all, to the point where it ended up killing the studio, I believe. And that is Saints Row. And I'll definitely end up checking it out. But this cost me only a couple bucks with free shipping as well. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, they ship it to you. So anything that the cases would normally have, which obviously with these modern titles, they don't have the they don't have manuals. It's usually like a code or an advertisement for something else now. So yeah, Saints Row, I figured for the couple of bucks that I spent on it, it's a day one edition. It's worth a shot just to see. If it's bad, hey, I lost a couple bucks. You let me know in the comment section. Is it a terrible game like I've been hearing? Did it deserve to kill the studio that created it? Let me know. All right, getting back into some retro games here. We have a Sega Genesis title that I have been featuring quite a bit on this channel. I have really enjoyed this game, especially this version of the game, and very excited to have it complete in box in the collection. This I got via eBay, and I highly recommend it. It is Bram Stoker's Dracula, and you can see my live stream of this game, as well as the game showcase video that I did for this. Awesome action platformer based on the movie, based on the book. Good music, good graphics, A lot of fun, very, very challenging game at times. Although the bosses are super easy, it's weird. You're gonna die a lot more from platforming and spikes and things of that, as opposed to actually fighting the boss. Once you find out their patterns and their weaknesses, it's very easy. But it's still a game I have not completed. I am hoping to be able to beat this without cheats someday. I can make it pretty far. But Bram Stoker's Dracula for the Sega Genesis. Now, there is a Super Nintendo version. It is also good, but it is super hard. There is also a Sega CD version, which is absolute garbage, and I highly do not recommend that version. So, yeah, stick with the Sega Genesis version is the best one in my opinion. All right, getting back into the modern pile here. This is another game that I got through GameFly very cheap. Really, really cheap. Like, the game came out, you heard about it, and then it just vanished, and it was on Fly used bestseller list, and it was really, really cheap. Surprisingly cheap. And this is Assassin's Creed Mirage. And now I've heard a lot of good things about this actually, but it just doesn't seem like it did well. It just didn't wow people, or at least wow them enough to kind of carry on its name. It just seemed like this came out. It was like people enjoyed it, but then it just like a puff of smoke. It just kind of disappeared. I have not played it yet, but I am excited to have this because I do enjoy the new Assassin's Creed games. I like Odyssey and I enjoyed Origin. So I have a feeling that this is going to be more of that. And if you like those types of Assassin's Creed, you're going to like this Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now, is it filled with the messaging and all kind of the modern stuff? I don't know. Like I said, I haven't played the game, so I can't give it a fair shake as far as an opinion goes. But from what I hear, people that have played this game seem to have enjoyed it, and it was a good looking game. So I am excited to check this out. Again, I got it extremely cheap through GameFly. I want to say in the teens as far as pricing goes, and it was early on when I got this. So Assassin's Creed Mirage. All right, the next game is a Sega Genesis game that I found thrifting, and it is unfortunately missing the manual, but otherwise has the clamshell and obviously the game, and it is a great sports title. If you enjoy baseball, this is one of the better baseball games or franchises to get in the 16-bit era. Other than Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball, which is the absolute greatest baseball game of all time. But that was more arcade style. This is more simulation style, and it is World Series Baseball. This looks to be the original one because there is no year or I have another copy as well that I bought a while back. It's either World Series Baseball 96 or 98, one of those two, but it's in a cardboard box behind me somewhere. But so I think this is the original one. And the thing with baseball games back in the 8 and 16-bit era is you didn't always get real players or real teams, but this one did feature all 28 teams of that time, plus real players that you can. So that was a pretty big selling point. And the other thing is it's a great baseball game as well. So if you're looking for, and these are typically cheap. Like I said, look, I ended up getting this one for 10 bucks. Probably for a couple bucks more, you can get it with the manual as well, or it might actually be around that $10 mark for a complete in box. Should be plenty of these on eBay. That would probably be the best place to get that type of game complete in box. So yeah, baseball game. I've been on a baseball games kick for a while. I ended up using Lukey Games as another great service, especially to get PS1 games. And at one point I bought a ton of baseball games, and boy did they come in such great clean condition. One of them was Triple Play Baseball, I think 2000 and 2001, sealed, never even been opened. So pretty cool. That's another great service to pick up some games. So let's get back into that modern titles, and this is another one from GameFly. Again, same deal. I got it on one of their clearance sales. And what ends up happening with GameFly too is they will buy a bunch of the games on a release, especially the ones that they think are going to be more popular that people are going to want to rent. And then I think they realize, okay, it's starting to slow down, and then they throw these games out on their market at a pretty good price to kind of get rid of all the excess ones, while they can still make some money, I guess, on them. This is Jedi Survivor, and I did play to completion the first one, Fallen Order, I believe it was called, and I enjoyed that game. At least I enjoyed the main story quest. I didn't enjoy it enough to where I wanted to go do all the side stuff. At that time, I was really suffering. I had just beat Far Cry 6, and I was really suffering from that open world fatigue. And I'm like, I enjoyed the story enough where I want to get through the main quest. So I did that, and I did enjoy it. And I hear that this is actually a better game than that. But again, I can't give you the opinion because I keep buying all these games and I just don't have the time to play them. But eventually I will. And I can give you some better opinions at some point. I will revisit some of these modern games in a showcase at some point. And then after I have actually played them, and give you kind of more in-depth report on what I think about the game. Because, it's the truth about it is it's all our opinions, right? Everybody's opinions. And some people are going to enjoy this game, some people aren't. And we'll see. I'm usually pretty forgiving with story and gameplay as long as it's not doing anything crazy or stupid. But we'll see. You never know. I've lost a lot of trust in modern gaming. So it's why PS3 has become such a fascination of mine. Because I've gone back to that sweet era of gaming where people weren't preaching a message to you. They were just interested in telling you good stories and good gameplay. But I do hear good things about this one, other than a few hiccups, I guess, frame rate wise and things like that. I guess there was some bugs, but by the time I'm playing this game, that's all ironed out, I can assure you. I enjoyed the first one. I think I will enjoy this one here. So this is going to be on my radar to play sometime soon, but I did get this through GameFly cheap as well. So, like I said, a lot of these did come through GameFly. This one I actually bought at a local mom and pop game shop, retro game store called Bowser's Basement. So if you are in the Massachusetts area, for whatever reason, you can Google Bowser's Basement, and they have two locations, one in Plymouth and one in Taunton, Mass. I would recommend going to the Taunton location. That is their bigger location, so they tend to have more stuff, especially if you're looking for more rare titles and kind of accessories, things like that. So pretty cool. The next game is a game called Dark Watch, and I never even knew this game existed. It's made by Capcom. And I remember seeing it on somebody's playlist, and I'm like, wow, that game looks really cool. Looks like a pretty cool, interesting story. It's 1 to 4 players. It's up my alley as far as old Western themes go. So, and then it's got vampires in it. So really, really cool. And this is a nice, clean copy. And I probably paid a little bit more than what it's worth. But honestly, you're going to expect to kind of pay a little bit more for these mom and pop shops. And I don't mind paying a little bit extra, but it is in fantastic, complete condition. I heard nothing but great things about this game. And very, very excited. I have not actually gotten a chance to play it myself. I don't think it's backwards compatible, so I got to hook up my OG Xbox to actually play this title, if I am not mistaken. So that's kind of why it's been on the back burner. I don't know why, but if I can't play an Xbox game on my 360, they kind of sit for a while before I actually, because I don't have my OG Xbox hooked up all the time. It's just so big and bulky and heavy, and I wish there was a better way. All right, so getting back into the modern pile here, this is a game that is still wrapped in shrink wrap. I ended up picking this up at Walmart, believe it or not. And this is another game that it came out and it just disappeared. It just, and I don't understand because it's a genre that I think people would really like, and I think it's starting to slowly kind of make a comeback. I think they released some kind of DLC or expansion pack that kind of gave it a little bit more life. It also just dropped on, I want to say, PlayStation Plus, so that may give it a little bit more life as well. But this game, it ended up going on super clearance at Walmart for whatever reason. And it's weird because this version went on super clearance. I ended up getting this game. It had to be like $24.99, but the Xbox version was still the normal price. And the guy even told me, he's like, "This game just came out. I don't understand why it's on super clearance." And then the Xbox version was the normal price. So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pick this up for the PS5," and that is Dead Island 2, and it's the day one edition there, and it's still sealed. I haven't even opened it up. So, I was a huge fan back in the day when it originally released on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Had a couple of buddies, we would play it online all the time. And then I don't know what really happened with that game. Riptide came out. None of us played it. Um, I didn't play it. I couldn't even tell you what Riptide is about. And yeah, there's just something about, like, we loved it, but then we just stopped playing it, and I couldn't really tell you why we just stopped playing the game, and didn't even bother with any of the sequels, because it was everything at that time that we enjoyed as gamers, me and my buddies at that time. So it's a very odd thing. I think one of the things that did not help Dead Island 2 is the fact that it was just in development for so long. I mean, they released this pretty cool trailer and then it just kind of disappeared, and then one day it's like, oh, by the way, this is dropping, right? So yeah, who knows with that. This is another title that I picked up at my local GameStop, and it is a PlayStation 3, the PS Triple, and it is Sniper 2 Ghost Warrior. Yeah, if you haven't guessed, I'm a huge fan of shooting games, third person shooters, first person shooters. If it's a shooter, for me. I am, when it comes to gaming tastes, like people have said in other videos, I'm as American can be. I got my Minuteman shirt here, so I'm showing you that I just love shooters. So that is my genre. I do like other types of games, of course. I have a pretty wide variety of games that I enjoy. Anything from fighting, simulation. Uh, I just picked up a game on PSN called Medieval Dynasty, and it's a medieval first person slash third person city builder, and city management. It's really cool. So check it out. It's on PSN. It's on sale right now. They have it for PlayStation 4 and 5, but I think the 5 is the better version. That one may have the co-op feature. I don't know if the PS4 can support the co-op option. So if you play that game, let me know, because I would love to start a multiplayer campaign of that game. So, all right, side tangent aside for now, we're going to get back into the modern day titles. So this one is a game that just released. I was very torn about this game. On one hand, I played the beta and I did well, but the movement was just stupid. I didn't like the movement at all, to the point where it really turned me off in the game. And then I ended up watching the Rad Brad play the campaign, and I'm like, oh, that was a really good campaign. And so I ended up deciding to buy this game, and for the campaign, which I've been enjoying. But then the more I play the multiplayer, the more it's kind of grown on me. So that is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And you're going to see another Call of Duty in here as well, because I'm on a kick right now where I want to collect every physical edition of Call of Duty games on PlayStation consoles, dating all the way back from the PS2, PS3, PS4, and then obviously the PlayStation 5. So I got a little ways to go, but I am slowly chipping away at the Call of Duties for PlayStation. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. The campaign is very enjoyable. So even if you want to wait for a sale just to play the campaign, it is great. It follows, you know, Call of Duty Cold War. So if you haven't played Call of Duty Cold War, definitely play that first to get the campaign, and then you can jump into this one here. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I am enjoying the campaign very much, and the multiplayer has grown on me. This is another title I got at GameStop, and a PS3 title. Now, this is a game that you can get on more modern consoles, but sometimes I like to buy a game that you can get a better version of on a more modern console, on an older system, to kind of just see how it plays, how it looks, what they changed. I'm a sucker for that. So I ended up picking up Far Cry 4, the limited edition, for the PlayStation 3. And like I said, there is obviously a better version on the PS4 that you can straight up buy. There may even be remastered versions at these points. They probably play even better on the more modern consoles. I don't remember. Or at least the PS4 or Xbox One, they're backwards compatible, so they'll play, or may not look better, but at least play better. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how this does perform on a PlayStation 3. I remember playing Far Cry 3 and not really remembering having the frame rate issues that actually does exist. I guess when you're like back in the PS3 era playing these games, you just get used to how games played back then. Like, you didn't have a digital foundry back then pounding you with how bad your game runs, you know what I mean? So you weren't always aware of the fact that there were better ways to play your game, especially back then, like it is now. So obviously Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, they play pretty poorly on the PS3 consoles as opposed to PS4. But I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. I love to see the kind of downgrades that you get on older hardware there. Getting back into modern day, so I ended up picking up this game through GameFly. Same deal, I had a 25% Keep It coupon. This game I had for a couple of months just sitting. I started it, and then you know how these games get. You start another game. I got a bad habit of starting a game, not finishing it, and just saying, oh, you know, I'm going to start this other game, and then it, you know, it doesn't happen. So I ended up keeping it because it became a good price with my discount plus the 25% discount. And that is Rise of Ronin. And this is a game that I do want to finish because I do enjoy this time period. I love anything that's Japanese. You can imagine my disappointment with the Ubisoft and the Japanese Assassin's Creed that they just dropped the ball on. I'll leave it at that, and was pretty excited to pick up something like this, Rise of the Ronin. So, like I said, and it's made by Team Ninja, so if you like Ninja Gaiden type stuff, this will be up your alley. Rise of the Ronin. All right, getting back into the more retro stuff. This is another game that I picked up through GameStop. And again, I love shooters. I enjoy Medal of Honor, so I saw this a couple of days ago. This is a more recent pickup, and I had a $5 coupon, so this ended up costing me $1.64, and picked up Medal of Honor Vanguard for the PlayStation 2, and I actually popped this in the other day, and I was just gonna, you know, I just wanted to check it out, but I ended up playing it for a good amount of time to the point where I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to end up recording this game and end up just doing a complete playthrough because I ended up enjoying it. Graphics are really good for the time. It plays really well on a PS2. At least on my... Alright, I don't have an actual PS2 anymore. I use a backwards compatible PS3. So at least on that, it looked really good. And I use a native 720. When I play PS2, PS3 games, I use a native 720p TV, so it looks really good. PS3 does a really good job of upscaling this. It is unfortunately not complete in box. It is missing the manual, which is disappointing because I was really hoping to do kind of a showcase. So maybe I can find the manual somewhere and make it complete in box. Or if there's somebody out there that has an extra manual and you want to make a trade or something, or I can throw you a few bucks, um, maybe you can send that my way to make this nice and complete in box. Otherwise, it's in pretty good condition, other than this stupid sticker that they put on. But yeah, Medal of Honor Vanguard, pretty cool game. I want to say there may be better ways to play it as well, but it's been playing well via backwards compatible PS3. All right, the next game that I picked up is a pretty awesome game. I've been having a lot of fun with this game and highly, highly, highly recommend it. I've been, uh, anytime people post on X, I usually will post something like, hey, you got to check out this game. And it is Starship Troopers Extermination for the PlayStation 5. Now, this is also on the Xbox and it originally came out on PC. And this is a fun game. It is a first-person tower defense, base building, horde shooter. It is a blast to see all these, I guess you call them bugs, but they're aliens. Um, Obviously based on the movie, Starship Troopers. And it is a blast. You build up your tower defense, your base, and to get a turret and just you're mowing down hundreds of these bugs that are trying to kill you, and it's just a blast. Highly, 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 highly recommend that you pick up this game, even if at full price. I recommend it. Again, it's more your double A. The only thing I will say is it is a multiplayer game, so there is some single player aspects to it that you can do, but it's mainly a multiplayer game. So you do it's best when you're playing with other players, and you don't need a headset. I mean, you can communicate in game, and you can kind of just know. I was playing a match with this where what's cool is you have to build these ammo depots too, so that you can restock the turret. So I was on a turret blasting away these bugs, and there was just this random player that came over, and he was just his job the whole time that we were blasting these bugs is he was making sure that I never ran out of ammo, and it was awesome. It was can't say enough good things about this game, especially if you're a fan of like Helldivers. This is definitely a game to give a shot. In fact, I think I enjoyed this more than I enjoy Helldivers. So yeah, Starship Troopers Extermination. Pick this up. That is a recommendation for a modern game by MacCam89. You can quote me on that. All right, we are starting to run out of some of these retro titles here, but we got a few, and then we'll finish off. The video is getting a little bit longer, so we will finish off a little more quickly on the modern titles here. The next one is a PlayStation 3 title, and also got at my local GameStop, and it is Condemned Bloodshot, and this is the second one, because if you want to play the first one, you got to play it on an Xbox 360 or maybe PC. I believe it also came out on. But as far as consoles go, the original Condemned Bloodshot, which is also a pretty cool game, is exclusive to the Xbox 360. This is also a really cool game. It's been a long time since I've played it, so I can't really. I want to say it's more of the same of the first, but better, more refined, better graphics, better combat. But it's been so long that I've actually played it that I can't give you like a full opinion that yeah, it's an amazing must get. But the PS3 is one of the few consoles that I'm really collecting for as far as complete sets or completer sets. So I tend to pick up more PS3 games that I may not necessarily pick up for another console. But that being said, this is a game that I do recommend that you pick up. And other people that have chimed in that I've heard have said that this was a good pickup, and that they enjoyed the game. So yeah, another GameStop. So like I said, it has been a blast to just kind of just pop into GameStop every once in a while and to find these games, readily available in store, not have to go online. And what's cool, obviously, they have the game, so you can check the condition of it right then and there. Unfortunately, there is a lot of games that I have passed up on it because they are missing. For PS3, I am looking for more complete in box, or at least decent looking case, although that last one wasn't too great. All right, getting back into the modern slash retro title. This is, man, as a kid, I absolutely loved these games, loved the movies. I used to come home from school and pop that VHS in almost every day and watch Jurassic Park. So when I saw that they were going to release a digital collection and then saw that they were going to release a physical of this collection, I was walking through Target not expecting to see this game, and I saw it there and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I gotta buy it. Gotta buy it. And it is the Jurassic Park collection. Look at that artwork. Absolutely amazing. Definitely sold me on it. I mean, the Sega Genesis games alone sold me on it. But this is awesome collection. If you buy the digital version, I believe it is cheaper. The physical version is going to cost you more money. And it does come with a good amount of Jurassic Park games. You have Jurassic Park Portable, Jurassic Park 8-bit, so that's the NES version. You have the Jurassic Park 16-bit, which is the Super Nintendo version. And then my favorites are the Jurassic Park for the Genesis and the Rampage edition, also for the Genesis. And then there is a Jurassic Park The Chaos Continues Portable, which I haven't played that one yet. And Jurassic Park 2 The Chaos Continues, which was also another Super Nintendo game, which is essentially Contra with dinosaurs. And it's a pretty difficult game. I never beat it. I owned it as a kid, but I never beat it. Me and my brother tried our hardest, but we never beat it. My favorite is the Genesis Jurassic Park games. Those I can actually beat. They are enjoyable to play. One thing I will say is the original Jurassic Park on the Sega Genesis suffers, especially in the first level, suffers from some crazy slowdown that you never get in the Rampage edition. So it had to be some sort of programming design choice. If you have more information on that, I'd love to know why there was such slowdown on it. And it would have been nice, I think. And I'm sure they kind of left it in for more nostalgia, and they probably could fix it. I don't know. Maybe they can't. Maybe it's just so baked into the game that you can't actually fix that slowdown. But it would have been awesome to see at least a mode where it fixed that slowdown, because it's kind of annoying. Even as a kid, it annoyed me. All right, and getting into the last, I guess, a retro-esque title. Some people won't consider some of these a retro, and that's fine. Whatever your definition may be. My definition is it's definitely not modern. This one I also got from GameStop not that long ago, and it is based on the series that I highly enjoyed. In fact, I featured one of them in a game showcase, the last game showcase, the Conflict series. But this one I have never played. I knew it existed, but I just never played it. I think by the time that this one came out, I probably had stopped buying PS2 games at the time. And that is Conflict Global Terror. So I imagine it plays very much like the other Conflict, the Conflict Desert Storm and Conflict Desert Storm 2. There's also Conflict Vietnam as well, which I do own on the PlayStation 2. And so I imagine it plays like that. Maybe it's a little less janky. Maybe it's improved. This one is nice because it is complete in box. The outside case isn't too great, but the manual is in pretty good shape here. And again, this is from GameStop, so pretty cool to be able to walk into there and find titles like this. Been pretty exciting. So that's cool. Like I said, that's gonna be a third-person shooter. The difference with those Conflict games is a lot of times they have some multiplayer elements. So couch co-op, which make these games a lot more fun if you can get a couple buddies to play. And you usually have a squad of 4 soldiers, and then each person can control one of those soldiers. So the more people you have, the more fun these games, because you can, be more tactical. You can strategize more. and makes the game a lot more fun. So getting into more modern titles, like I had mentioned, I am on a Call of Duty kick. So I am collecting all the Call of Duty titles from PS2, PS3, PS4, and PS5. I want all the physical versions. I some of these games I have already as digital, but I want the physical versions for whatever reason. It's just the kick that I'm on right now. And I actually was playing this last night, having a lot of fun with this. It is Call of Duty Ghosts. I know it is a game that some of the more hardcore Call of Duty fans do not like. I enjoyed this game. I enjoyed the campaign. I think it's a real shame that we did not get a sequel to this to kind of explain further what's going to happen in that universe. But I enjoyed this game, and I enjoyed the extinction mode as well. So it tried to do something different. It was more objective based, and it replaced the zombies with aliens, which, in my opinion, were really cool. There's some kind of weird thing about this game where the graphics are strange. So I don't know if it's a design choice, right? So there are sections of this game where when the game first starts out, the graphics aren't that great, but then something happens where it just like changes and the graphics actually become really good. And if you played this game, maybe you know what I'm talking about. Like there's just something like almost like they were designing it for the older consoles because this came out on the 360 and the PS3 as well. And it's almost like they just decided, we're gonna up the graphics at some point. And it's almost like a switch happens early on in the campaign, and it just seems like I don't know, the graphics just get better. So I don't know. Maybe you understand what I'm talking about if you played that, but I've been enjoying that. I enjoyed it back when it first released, and I've enjoyed it later on as well. The next game is another compilation here of more retro titles and very good retro titles, and that is the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection here, which also comes with some digital games as well. I think some of the old, like the older games you can play through here as well. But it also comes with the original Metal Gear, Metal Gear 2, both on Metal Gear 2 was on PlayStation 2. The original Metal Gear here on the other side was on the original PlayStation, and then you add Metal Gear Solid 3, which is my favorite, that is Snake Eater, which they're going to be doing a remake of that, which is going to be coming out rather soon. So excited about that. And but Snake Eater is my favorite one, and that also released on the PS2, Nintendo 3DS, I believe it also came out, and a few other ports. PlayStation 3 HD collection. They've already done this on the PS3 as well. But still cool to have on a more modern machine, especially, as the PS3 starts to get older, you just never know how reliable those systems are going to be in the near future. So cool to have it on a more modern console. All right, the next game is going to be another game that I really recommend. The last four are going to be more modern titles. This is a game that I feel like reviewed pretty well, but is another game that kind of went under the radar. And if you really like the new Silent Hill remake, I really recommend this game. Um, I've played through it a couple times and I've had a blast. And typically for single player games, once I beat them, it is extremely rare for me to go back and play them. But this is a game that I highly recommend. It is Alone in the Dark, and this is basically a remake of the original Alone in the Dark. And it's got great graphics. It plays very good. The story, I will admit, can be pretty confusing, but I mean, you can kind of piece it together, get the gist of it. I kind of play it less for the story and more for the gameplay. And there are two characters that you can play with. You can play as Mr. Carnby as well as Emily. So, it gives you some extra replayability because there are some things that happen with one character that doesn't happen with another. So to get the kind of complete story, you do have to play through both. And the game is enjoyable enough where I had no problem, even though the puzzles for the most part are the same, no matter who you play as. I enjoyed it enough to where a second, and I'm actually doing a new game plus mode that adds in some extra jump scares and things like that, which has been pretty fun. So this is another game that I do highly recommend, and you can get it fairly cheap nowadays. Alone in the Dark on the PS5. I want to say it's on Xbox as well. All right, so this is a game that I know um, has not done well at all, but I got it because it was super cheap through GameFly. Alone in the Dark was also another one that I got through GameFly. I enjoyed the game so much that I ended up keeping it. So that's cool about GameFly is you have a game that's rented, there's a keep it button, and that's it. They'll send you the case separate, and then they'll send you whatever the next game on your list. But this is another game that I got through GameFly, extremely cheap. I'm not expecting anything great out of this game. I hear that it's not good, that the writing is not good. It's probably a game that's probably going to preach to me as well and tell me how I should think. And that is Skull and Bones for the PS5. And I know this is a game that was kind of in development hell for quite a while and did not review well. It kind of just released, and again, a poof of smoke. Ubisoft has not been having a good good couple of years. They're not doing too well in the modern era of PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. Let's put it that way. To the point where there is talks right now of them possibly being bought out. Skull and Bones. It was a game that was supposed to kind of carry on the naval combat of, I believe it was Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and yeah, I just didn't review that well, but it was so cheap that I just, you know what, I'll take a chance on it. Same idea with Saints Row. It was so cheap, I'm like, let's try it. Let me form my own opinion and see if it was worth the $5 that I spent on it. So this is another game that kind of, I think they thought was going to do better than what it did, and I actually enjoyed playing it. I think I was able to play like a trial for a while. So again, ended up finding this real cheap through GameStop. I think less than 10 bucks. And very good condition that they sent me in. Doesn't even look like whoever had this probably didn't really play it. And that is Rainbow Six Extraction for the PlayStation 5. Now, I believe it is also on PlayStation Plus. But I kind of wanted to own the digital edition, and it was so cheap that I'm like, hey, you know what? You might as well. And I think if you buy this version, you also get access to Rainbow Six as well. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like Rainbow Six Siege at all. If you like it, that's great. I'm not going to say it's a bad game. It's just not a game for me. Coming from the old school Rainbow Six, I don't consider Rainbow Six Siege Rainbow Six. I don't. It just borrows the name, but I feel like it's its own thing. And it's great. It's a popular game. It's just not for me. But I did enjoy Rainbow Six Extraction more than I did Rainbow Six Siege. So that's why I went with this and got that through GameStop. Now the last game is a game that I got through GameFly and started the campaign a few weeks ago. Wanted to check it out. I was actually going to do a live stream of it, but ended up switching out the games for a different game. And this is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And one of the big reasons why I took a chance on this, one, it was dirt cheap on GameFly. And yeah, GameFly, it's a great service if you're looking to not really buy games and you want to try them with the potential of buying them later on. I enjoyed the service. So I'm not going to tell you to, you have to go and get it, but it's a good way to play a lot of these more modern titles without having to drop big bucks on them or having to wait for a deep discount in order to check them out. You can try it, you don't like it, you send it back, get the next game on your list there. And I have no affiliation with them either way, so I'm not promoting them in that sense. But this is a game, I enjoyed the Avatar game on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. I think that's actually a hidden gem of a game. So I figured, you know what, this could possibly be a hidden gem Some of the writing is but the graphics are beautiful. The gameplay is so far has been fun, and I've been enjoying at least exploring parts of the world that I've been able to explore. So, um, you know, again, I haven't played it enough to say that this is a bad or a super good game, but I've enjoyed what I've played so far. So if you can get this on sale, I recommend it or rent it through GameFly service. Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. If anything, it's a beautiful looking game. So if you want to showcase what your console can put out on a nice 4K TV, this is a good game to showcase nice, bright, vivid colors and things like that. So that is everything for this pickup video. As you can see, there has been quite a bit of pickups for this year of 2024. And hopefully 2025 will bring a lot of good new pickups as well. I hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving that will be coming up for my US viewers. Although I have a Loved Again media box that I'm going to be doing. So we'll see you again before the Thanksgiving holiday for my US viewers. And as always, for everybody else that is watching, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your likes, your shares. If you are not subscribed, if you can please subscribe to the channel so I can finally get to 1,000 subscribers. That would be fantastic. You don't know how much that means to me. And as always, happy gaming and God bless.